Welcome to Foundation Friday. The dedication and covenant of silent unity was signed on December 7th, 1892 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, founders of the Unity movement. It is unlikely when they signed this covenant that they had any idea how far-reaching unity would be as it evolved into the church we know and love today. We invite you to join us as we explore and share some of the original ideas, teachings, and writings of the men and women who created the foundation of the Unity Church.
Hi, thank you for joining us today for our Foundation Friday program. Today, we are delighted to be sharing some of the writings from Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore. This portion is drawing on the source, and you can find these articles. I think there's two here in the Letters of Myrtle Fillmore, published in 1936. So we're going back a little bit. Today we're looking on her writings, drawing on the source. I hope you love this as much as I do. An individual who needs to realize and draw upon God's light and life and power and substance for health and sustenance cannot make the grade so long as he is so situated that it is the way of least resistance to let others do for him that which they feel impelled from love or any other motive to do. Each one of us is inseparably one with God, the source and substance of life and wisdom and every good. Each one must draw upon the source for his own sustenance and for his own light and for his own willpower. Parents too often claim the children who come to them as their own and feel that they must think for them and do for them and take responsibilities for them. This is done until the child loses his God-given initiative and lets down and comes from habit to depend on others. This thought grows up with him, but all the time he resents this state of affairs, yet he has not developed the ability to launch out for himself, nor does he know that he possesses latent wisdom to work out of his difficulties. Here is where God, as universal law, steps in and takes a hand. When there has been failure to know and to measure up to the divine plan of life, circumstances arise, experiences come that make it necessary for the individual concerned to pull apart and to rely more and more upon himself. If these individuals will make the most of such opportunities and seek, to develop from within the latent God-given resources and abilities, they will swing clear of the old entanglements and dependencies. And learning to draw on source, they will bring forth their own God-given good. If an individual fails to see wherein he has transgressed the law of life and omnipresent good, he will continue to claim responsibilities that are not his and burdens that he need not assume and that hinder his own progress. He may, through special prayer and effort, realize a measure of harmony and health, but he will not know the fullness of good until he recognizes God as omnipresent life and substance, ready to meet the needs of all his children in the way of spirit and without burden or worry to any of them. Truth means little until it is applied to individual cases and needs. So that's her first lesson on drawing from the source. I find this really valuable, even though it's written in, the language of 1939. I think it's amazing that even then there were problems of parents doing too much for their kids and kids feeling like it was the parents' job to take care of them and meet their needs, and not growing forth and realizing that they had their own connection with God, their own path to travel, their own lives to live. I know that's happening today as well. And as a parent, it can be really difficult to watch my children struggle, especially if I feel like I could help them so they wouldn't struggle. I'm reminded of the story of the butterfly trying to break free of the chalice and a little kid helping the butterfly out because he didn't want to see the butterfly suffer, but because the butterfly had never developed the strength to break free, the butterfly didn't survive. And I think that's exactly what that first letter from Myrtle Fillmore is referring to. Okay, enough of me. Let's get back to Mrs. Fillmore's writings. This is another letter. If a person would be healed and keep getting younger and more vigorous and alert and ready for what the times demand of us, he must wake up and get out of the rut, change his habits, appropriate the life elements in food, in the sunshine, and especially in truth statements, and prove that he is awake. Instead of thinking about his apparent condition or the race thought that which with which he may have been struggling or his age, he is to concentrate all his attention upon God, that he may become so aware of his presence and his perfect pattern of life and his qualities that he will forget his old errors and dissolve the conditions that he himself has built up from dependence on something or somebody outside of himself. God is the one perfect life flowing through us. God is the pure substance out of which your organism is formed. God is the power that gives us motive power, the strength that holds us upright and allows us to exercise our members, the wisdom that gives us intelligence in every cell of our organism, every thought in our mind. God is the only reality of us. All else is but a shadow that is cast by some foolish belief or unwise combination of thoughts and the elements of being. When we let light flood us with its sunshine, all clouds vanish and we begin to see ourselves in new ways of doing, which lead to the wholeness and health and real satisfaction and growth. The free flow of God's life through us becomes hindered in its expression if our thoughts and acts imply a belief in a limited number of years, in hoarding of strength or substance or supply. We must prove our faith in God is omnipresent, good, and eternal life. God in the midst of us is a steady stream of renewing and cleansing and vitalizing life. And we can have the use of this life if we will open up the channels of its flowing, and ourselves draw from this source. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the teachings of Myrtle Fillmore. She and her husband, Charles, of course, were the founders of the Unity Movement. And the Unity Movement itself was created out of the power of affirmative prayer, the power of learning and living the truth of the divine. Thank you for being with us today. Before we go, please know you matter. You are sacred, and you are so, so very loved. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.